check those out. My name's Wayne and welcome back to the channel. I'm excited for this video because in reality I'm going to finish a job that I started last winter. Now if you've been following along to my channel, you know that last winter I spent a lot of time working on the interior of my car. I put in new seats, new door panels, lots of work. And I wanted to reupholster the rear bench seat because it was pretty rough shape, right? But when I talked to Legendary Auto Interiors, you know, they told me basically it was going to be about anywhere from 10 to 12 months because they actually built them and make them to order. So I said, well, I better place the order right now. You know, looking at my packing slip, I actually ordered these last January and I just got them in the mail end of October. So that's like, what, 9 to 10 months. So we just got my new red bench seat covers for the car and we're going to open up the box. Let's take a look. So here's kind of a close-up of the grain and the pattern. Looks good, feels good. I mean, a lot better than my old dry and cracked seat cover, that's for sure. It's been dyed a couple times as well. So these look great. So I'm hoping the foam and everything is okay on my bench seat because I really don't want to replace that. I'm hoping I can just put the seat covers on, but let's get the other ones out. We'll bring them down here and we'll take a look. All right, so I just brought these downstairs in the workshop and the seat back is actually not too bad as far as cracks. It's got a couple up here on the top edge, right? But again, I've had to dye this thing and it's just so dry and like brittle. And then on the seat bottom, it just, I mean, you just almost, if you sit on it and you hear a new crack happen, you know? It's so dry, so that's what we're dealing with, and that's why we're replacing them. Let's flip them over, take a look at the backs. All right, now looking on the back side of these, you know, the burlap is still in good shape. It's not dry and cracking and falling apart like you might think. So after looking at everything, my first thought, at least for now, is just get the covers off and then just recover them. My thought is, you know, I haven't bought, I know there's a foam kit and burlap kit, and I think it's close to like 300 bucks, I think, over at Legendary. And I'm willing to do it if this stuff was falling apart. I was seeing some of these old seats where they're so dry, like all the burlap is literally falling apart on your carpet and whatnot. But this isn't. This here is, I'm not sure where this is supposed to go. I'm not exactly sure. I think it's supposed to get tucked in, but we can always rework this piece. But in general, I think we're just gonna put some new covers on these. So now the fun part is like busting off all these little hog rings, right? So we're gonna have to do that. Take a note. I'm gonna photograph as much as I can where these are all hog ringed on, and do one at a time. Start with maybe at the bottom, whatever, and then yeah, just do one at a time and try to see how this goes. So as far as tools, I really have 3 tools I'll be working with. This is a pair of hog ring cutters, and this is the hog ring pliers that we'll be using to install the new hog rings. And then we just have a pack of new hog rings. I got these from Legendary Auto Interiors. They're like $5 or 10 bucks in shipping, but yeah, so those just came in, and now we're going to work on getting the old seat cover off. So we're going to use the hog ring cutter tool and just go around and snip all these hog rings all the way around the perimeter. And it's always good to take a good note of pictures or with video of where your hog rings are. So if you have any questions, you've never done this before like myself, we can come back and reference those when we go and install the new covers. You might think it takes a lot of work or effort to snap those hog rings, but it's not bad at all. And this tool here really makes it easy. So you can get these cutters and pliers with pretty much any of the companies like Classic Industries or that sell like these kits, and you can get them all together, and it makes pretty quick work of it. bench seat, and now we're going to see if we can pull this seat cover off or if anything else is holding it on. All right, here's my little pile of hog rings that came off, and they all came off pretty well. You know, these hog ring remover tools work really well, and it's not that as strenuous as you would think. So, all right, so it's definitely kind of hooked on, well, here, the top side. So we're going to kind of flip it over and peel it off from the front edge first, and then try to slide it off the bench seat. All right, so I can tell it's all separated, but what's really holding it on tight is like the corners. Each corner really is. So we're gonna have to maybe try to compress the corner. It looks like this one will be the easiest to get off because this one is really wrapped around it pretty good. So that being said, we're gonna try to get this off as much as we can. Try to get as much slack. Maybe try to like roll it off maybe. There we go. Without trying to damage much of the actual cushion material on that seat. All right, there we go. So now it should just slide off, right? Nice. All right, let's get this. Wow, that's pretty good, pretty good. Let's get this out of the way for now. So this one has a metal listing rod at the top, the back edge. I'm not sure if our new ones come with it or not. So let's take a look at what we have in our box. All right, so I pulled out the new seat cover, and so it looks like the one edge does not have the metal wire. The rest of the edges have this harder, I don't know, almost looks like a really, dense twine. I don't know what this wire is actually called, but it's not metal that wraps around it. And those come installed in the seat covers. But this front one is not. The little loop is there, it's all, but it's empty. So we're gonna pull the original metal one out, slide it in this edge, and then we can start putting the cover back on the frame. I'm just gonna cut that area so I can get in here and just pull this out as easily as possible. All right, so there's that rod. There we go. All right, let's get this old one out of here and it's ready for the garbage. All right. See, the last one probably be the hardest. Ooh, wow, that was tight. All right, it looks pretty good on. We do have a bit of a wrinkle over here, but I'm sure we can get that out with some heat and letting it sit and stretch out over some time. But all right, yeah, that's good. All right, so I just actually put a little blanket down underneath the seat cushion, so when I flip it over and do all my hog rings, I don't scuff this up on my wooden workbench. But now I just grab my heat gun and I'm just gonna put a little heat to this area where it's wrinkled the most, just to see if I can get some of these out before I start doing any of the hog ringing. So we'll see. All right, so just a little bit of heat from the heat gun, and that pretty much got rid of those wrinkles. So I like the way that looks a lot better. So once I'm all done with the hog rings, all tight and stretched on. Then we'll come back at it again with the heat gun and give it a little heat if we have any little wrinkles. But for now, that looks a lot better. But you definitely want to be careful. Those heat guns can put out a lot of heat, and the last thing you want to do is get it too hot. So, but it looks good. I think we're ready to flip it over now and start doing some hog ringing. So we're going to start out by doing the hog rings on the top edge first. So here's the bottom of the back seat, and we're going to go through, use the hog rings through the listing wire that I took out of the originals, and we're going to basically connect that to all these little holes in the seat frame where they originally had your hog rings, and actually where you can see the ones that are there that hold the burlap on. So again, the burlap was in great shape, so that's going to save us a lot of time and even some money. But now we're going to go and do the hog rings on this top edge. And if you're not familiar with these, this is what they look like. So it kind of looks like a little C-shaped ring, and they have a special tool, special plier they fit right into. And give them a good squeeze once you got it all aligned, and we're going to start out here basically in the middle. There you go. All right, first one is in. All right, so now we have the top edge done, and it came out really nice, no issues at all. And we're going to flip it around, and now we're going to do the front edge. All right, so this is going to be a little bit harder now, because now we have, you know, there was no tension on the actual seat cover when we did this edge, but now to get this listing wire, it needs to come up here and do the hog ring, right? So we have to compress the springs and use some muscle to get the first few going, and have to walk all the way along the edges, and then we'll do the sides last. But this is where it would be helpful to have an extra hand to try to compress it. Whew. That took some work. All right. All right, well, you get the idea. We'll put it on time lapse, and we'll get this front edge all secured. Man, we got them all in, but that kind of felt like a wrestling match. I'm not kidding you. All right, so the front edge is all in. Let's flip it over and see how we're looking so far. All right, so we got some wrinkles we can work out with those, but we still have the ends to do. So once we put a little more tension on the ends, get those all done, then we'll come in with the heat gun and get all those wrinkles out. I think it's going to look awesome. All right, so more of the same. We just need to make sure this wire is wrapped around and nice and tight. And we can clip it onto this last rail here. All right, we're making some progress. So more of the same, just stretching this over, making sure we can get a good, secure anchor with our hog rings. The sides aren't nearly as tough. Really only that second edge, you know, that front edge, that was really the only one that was tough. The sides, there's not a lot of tension on these, so these are going pretty easy. So you just kind of want to make sure you give yourself a good look on the side, make sure it's all laying flat, not getting any wrinkles, right? Just making sure nothing looks out of place or really out of line, but Again, I like to just kind of get a hog ring all set up, set it off to the side, and make sure it's all stretched and in line, and then we can come in and give it a nice squeeze. All right, I think that is gonna do it. All right, let's cut off our excess here. We're not gonna need this. All right, so after I put the seat cover on yesterday, I let it sit overnight, and let's take a look and see how it looks. You know, overall, I think it looks great. We have a few little spots where we have a little bit of wrinkling. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna put a little bit of heat to these areas and then let it sit up again. You know, I probably should have did this last night before I was done, but kind of ran out of time, and we are gonna do that right now. So we'll get the heat gun out and see if we can't get this laying just perfect, but already it looks so much better. It looks awesome. I'm really happy. And this gun has two settings. I'm going to use it on the lowest setting. The highest heat setting, it can put out some serious heat, so we don't want to like do any damage to this, right? Because these can get really spicy. So I'm going to put it on the low setting and work these areas. All right, it's warming up pretty nicely now. You can really change. You can really tell the change in the suppleness of the material. You know, I kind of want to do almost all of it because some areas are tight, right? If I can soften those up, it might help tighten up the areas where there's a little bit of extra material, right? All right, so overall now, after applying some heat to it and really working the material out, which took some work, you know, it looks a lot better, and I'm really happy with it. So I think for now, this is about as good as it's gonna get, and I'm happy. And now we're gonna move on to the bottom portion. So let's get that one on the bench and strip it all down. All right, now we're ready to tackle the bottom. So all we're gonna do now, the same process, go through with our tool and cut all those hog rings off and get the seat cover all free. All right, I was able to get all the hog rings off, no surprises, all the same really, but I think it's actually the most satisfying part of this job is just snapping those hog rings free. All right, what we're looking at is pretty much the same as the other section. Just wraps it around and all just gets hog ringed to the frame and all these oval and hole slots, right? So we're just gonna peel it off and see how it all looks. So again, this one, the burlap, everything looks pretty good shape. So like I said, I didn't buy the foam kit, so I don't plan on adding anything to it. So let's try to peel this off and see how this one comes off. It seems like the areas that have the biggest, you know, corners that it's wrapped around, you kind of want to do those last. So like the back edge, if you will, is not really tucked or wrapped around it real tight. So I like to peel it off these corners, and then it should almost, hopefully, yeah, come off. This one's kind of sticking a little bit. All right, here we go. Cool. All right, there she is. Get this out of the way, and not bad. There's a little bit of a damage here, but I don't think you'll even feel that once the cushion's on, or the seat cover rather. Yeah, it looks fine. All right. All right, so let's take a look at that new seat cover. All right, now this one though, man, it was rolled up not so nice in the package, and man, it's got a nasty crease in it. So that might take some extra work to get out, but you know, it is what it is. So let's get it prepped and get it up there. Now this one doesn't have, I don't think, any actual wire. This has the more like the cord, and that's already in it. It's all the way around. So I don't think we'll have to take any listing wire out of the original one. Nope. This already is all good to go. All right, so now we're gonna lay the seat cover over the existing foam from this bottom and see how it all lines up. Kind of want to get the back end first in place. Of course, that last one is going to be the hardest. But not bad at all. One thing I will say, watch out for the sharp edges on your seat frame. I already nicked my finger once good, but yeah, just be careful, right? All right, so now all the corners are wrapped around, and we can try to get it all pulled in tight and flip it around, and we'll take a look. So now I'm certain that I have the seat cover symmetrically in place, and I have the back corners wrapped over. Now I want to secure the back corners with one hog ring in each back corner, and then we're going to come up to the front and get the front corners anchored in. All right, so I've been working these front corners, trying to get that front edge of the foam all the way up in the corner of the seat cover. And that takes some work. You know, one trick is you really kind of want to like roll the seat cover over it. You don't want to just try to like pull it over. That way when you roll it over, you can really like just push the foam up into the corner. And then once you can also like compress down onto the actual seat frame in that corner, and using your hands to really get like those front corners worked in place in the right position. Then also is a good time to take a look and make sure all your existing foam and insulation is all hog ringed. I had to add one over here as it was like missing. Just want to get everything nice and tidy and in place and firm, so nothing's, you know. I also trimmed up a few pieces of burlap that were kind of, you know, hanging low, so I just wanted to clean things up. Now is a good time to make it tidy. And also you want to make sure, right, make sure this thing is all centered and in the right location, because now is a good time. I only have it anchored by the two hog rings, one in each back corner. If something's wrong, you can always break those free and come back and recenter it if needed. And then once you think you're close, you can, you know, check out your piping. Is your piping close to the holes? You know, I won't be able to do it with one hand, but I'm pretty much close now. I'm going to work these corners a little bit more, but in general, I think what we'll be able to do is go and hog ring the back edge first, and then we'll come and do the front edge and then the sides. So getting close, and it's looking pretty good. All right, so I've been working these corners and this front edge for a while now, and I'm pretty happy with where it's all at. So I'm going to anchor the front two corners, and then after that, we'll do the entire front edge and get it all anchored in. We're done. Committed. All right, that front edge is all done. Flip over and take a look. All right, it's all looking good in place. I like my corners. Everything's all good and symmetrical. And now we're going to flip it around and do the back edge. All right, so now that the front edge is done, there's definitely going to be a lot more tension in some of these areas. So we're gonna have to do a little bit of more squeezing. So I can already tell some of these corners, like right here, that one's a little tight, but we're just gonna work our way around to it. Man, definitely getting a forearm workout on this project. All right, well, I had to shut the camera off and take a break. This corner was crazy. I finally was able to pull and stretch and get this one done. And now I have to do the other one right here. That was a crazy bonkers. I did not expect it to be that tight. So before I do anything, I guess I could do this edge now. Might as well do this edge while we're here and committed. But I was just trying to, loosen up as much as I could just to try to get this one in. And I did this one over here. I did this one with all of them being off, and then I did this and this. So I tried the same thing over there. So I just try to give it as much slack as I could to try to get that thing in place and attached, because that was brutal. I had to take off the sweatshirt. I was working up sweat. Holy smokes. Did not. Close. Wow. But no mas. No good. Owie. And there's like so many sharp edges everywhere. Even like with these new hog rings, you know, those have the sharp edges, and this old metal. It's like, ay. Just asking for a tetanus shot. Crap. Nope. Thought I had it, but nope. I'm not really having fun. But, oh God, you could really use a hand. Okay. Wow. Holy crap. We're getting close. It's like, you know, you're in the race. You can see the finish line. You're almost there. Pull this over. Nice. Alright, we're down to one. It's not an easy one. I had problems with this one on the other side too. Just not quite the stretch. I don't know if I can maybe hook it and pull it over. Oh yeah. Haha. Done. Alright, let's flip it over and see how many wrinkles we have to deal with. Hopefully not too bad. Oh, there's that hog ring that just popped out. Let's flip it over so I can see the front edge. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we're gonna need to get the heat gun to work. But overall, I tell you, that looks pretty darn good. I am digging it. Got a little wrinkle here, which I'm not surprised. Those are some harder spots, but that is actually going to get covered by the seat back when it goes in place. Really, the one main thing I'm worried about is this area right here, which I'm confident they'll come out with some heat. So it is the next day. Now let's see how the seat covers have laid up after I hit them with the heat yesterday. Well, I think these turned out great. A little bit of maybe a slight wrinkle here, but overall, a little bit here. But, you know, overall, I think these look really good. Barely any wrinkling. I think with it a little more rest and get them out in the sun and use it a little bit, I think they're going to be just perfect. So overall, again, I'm happy with them. There's just a little bit of a wrinkle here, but again, I think that'll all lay out over time and relax even more. So the main wrinkle that was in the fabric right here, that's all gone, cleaned up nice, it's relaxed, and it's looking really good. So I'm really happy with how these are turning out. So I think now is the time we can get these back in the car. All right, so I just put the seats in and checked them out. You're looking good. No more splits, no cracks, no dryness. And the red color, I mean, it looks great. I mean, let me try to turn on a little light here. It looks great with the carpet, my new door panels, the new package tray. Yeah, I love it. So another job done. Moving on. Well, that is gonna wrap up this video, and hopefully you enjoyed it. It was fun being able to do something for the first time, make a big improvement on the interior, and get those rear seats finally reupholstered that I've been waiting on for over like 10 months. So thanks for watching. And if you liked the video, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet. And you know the deal, if you turn that bell notification, you'll be notified each and every time I upload a new video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.